Hey, let's take a look at a different college search engine. This time we're going to look at Scoir, which is slightly different than the College Board. You just type Scoir into your browser, and here is our first option that comes up. Scoir is really unique in that it presents all of the really important pieces of information in terms of data for each college, just as the College Board does, but it does it in a much more user-friendly fashion, and I'll show you what I mean in just a few minutes. The site differentiates its services between students and parents. So if you click on the parent link, there's a demo video down at the bottom that I highly recommend that you watch. The people at Scoir really understand that paying for college is a huge concern for parents, and because of that, they make it really is easy to calculate your estimated family contribution for each school and then to compare costs of different schools. So this is a really cool tool that I highly recommend that you check out. For students, Scoir provides all the important pieces of information for each school, but they also want students to be able to keep track of their research and the different questions that they have about schools. So the site includes opportunities to log and track research as well, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. So if you don't have an account, go ahead and set one up, and then we're going to sign in. And we're going to start by looking at the college search option. Now you can look up a school by its specific name very easily by typing the name of the school in here. These are results of an old search. Or you can take the little criteria quiz here that will match you with different schools. So because we're just starting out, we're going to keep things pretty general. We're going to say that we're looking for a school that has a biology program. We're going to say we want something, I would go with states rather than the zip code option here because that can get a little funky. Let's say we're looking in New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. There we go. And let's say that we want a really, pretty big school between 5,000 and 10,000 kids. And we're looking for a school that wants an ACT score of at least, well, let's keep it pretty competitive, around 30. Let's make it 32. Okay. And we have 77 colleges that seem to meet this criteria. So you can see the criteria is listed up at the top, and then you have all of your schools. So let's check one out. Here's Boston College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. We're just going to click on that. And right away, you see basic stats at the top. You have the name of the town where it's located, the acceptance rate, 34%, that's pretty competitive, the average SAT and ACT score, the number of undergraduates, it's just under 10,000, and the average net cost. And if you mouse over this, it shows you how that's adjusted in terms of household income. So while it says $29,000, it's only $29,000 if you earn less than $48,000 for your total household income. So that can be a bit deceiving. You have a little write-up, a basic description of the school here. You learn that it's a Jesuit college when it was founded. And then you have the address. Now this phone number that's provided here is the general phone number for the school. It's not the direct dial number for the admissions department. You really need to get that from College Board. This section here provides a little summary of the area surrounding the campus, and it gives you the religious affiliation. If we go down to admissions right away, you see the SAT range broken down per section, and same for ACT. And then you have the acceptance rate, which, as I said before, is pretty competitive. It tells you what tests are required or considered. This is great. It's so much easier to find here than on the College Board. And interview. Now, interview, it says not required. That doesn't mean that it's not offered. You should always go on a school's website or call the school to find out whether or not they will do an admissions interview. It gives you application deadlines. These two should be checked with each school's website to make sure that they're accurate. It tells you that the school accepts the common application and what the application fee is. Now we're down in student life. Number of undergraduates, retention rate 96%, that's terrific, that's really high. And 99% of kids live in housing freshman year. That's wonderful. That means there's going to be a really vibrant campus community. Diversity is broken down in terms of gender and ethnicity. And it tells you the percentage of students that commute and that are full-time undergrads. And then this is an interesting feature here, Greek life, really easy to find on Scoir, 0%. There are no fraternities or sororities at Boston College. And it gives you some safety information about the number of arrests and crimes that are committed on campus. Athletics broken down by sport. Again, always check this with the college website. Same goes for academics right here. Not all majors are provided here, so make sure that you look on the school's website. Cost and financial aid. This is the tuition. It goes up if you live on campus. There's a cost for room and board. And then here is how the cost is typically broke down in terms of household income. It tells you that 54% of the students graduate with at least $21,000 in loans, and 63% receive financial aid. This is the map that shows you where the school is located, and this is a really important feature that is not available on a lot of other websites. It tells you how far it is to the nearest airport or train station. This is so significant because a school might be a 3-hour drive from home, but if you choose not to drive your child, let's say you have to pick your kid up from, for Thanksgiving break and you don't want to drive up there, so you tell your son or daughter to take the train home. Great, you call Amtrak. The closest train station is, half an hour from your house, and it's a 4-hour train ride from the general area where the school is located to your house. But perhaps it takes 2 hours to get from campus to that train station on public transportation. So what appears to be a quick journey actually turns into quite a long journey. So it's good to know how close the major airports and train stations are to every school. So let's say that we really like Boston College and we want to add it to our list. We're going to go up here in the My Colleges tab, and we're just going to click that. And then if you go on My Colleges, there's Boston College. So we're going to go back to our college search. And here we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. And we're going to look at some other schools. So let's say that we want to compare Boston College with Brandeis University. Here's another school. Okay, we're going to add that to My Colleges. And here we go. Not sure why that didn't add. Let's go back and do that again. It's added. This is going to take a minute to update, so we'll just come back to this. I'm going to show you on Brandeis. The site seems to be a bit slow at the moment. Here we go. Before we go back to the comparison feature, I'm going to show you another aspect of Scoir that's really cool. We went through the overview, which again provides all the basic stats, but if you go to the wall feature right here, you'll get a number of different visuals and little hashtag identifications that give you a really good picture of what's going on campus and what the culture of the school is like. So let's say that you like something. Maybe you're really into hiking and you love that Walden Pond is right nearby because you're really into Thoreau and Emerson. So you decide to pin that. So you can pin that to your idea board, and we're going to create an idea board. And let's say we're going to call this outdoor activities. Okay, and we're going to save that. Okay. And let's say that we really love the fact that they have a cool fitness center. So we're going to pin that as well. We're going to create another one and we'll call it fitness. Okay. If you go up here to your identification, your profile, underneath it, you'll have notebooks and idea boards. If you go under idea boards, so you have one under fitness, you have Brandeis posted under fitness and outdoor activities. You can post a number of different schools under each category. Therefore, you can organize your schools according to the things that really interest you, whether it has to do with a specific major, an extracurricular activity, the way that the campus is organized, a particular professor, anything that is really important to you, you can create an idea board for, and then you can list schools or attach schools to that idea board. So that's a pretty cool way to do things. You can also take notes on schools. So here you have some notes. So let's say you have Brandeis University under your notebook, and let's say you decide you don't want it there anymore. You can unpin it. You can also do the same for, you can edit it. So here's one for Bucknell University, and I added a little note here. I wrote, great location, I'm interested in the animal behavior program, need to visit this campus, and then you can save the note. So when you go into your profile, you'll have your notebooks with your notes about different schools, but you'll also have the idea board where you organize schools according to the things that are important to you. So let's go back to the My Colleges feature. Since I unpinned, we now have to add another another school. So we'll go back to our college search. Actually, I think we'll just look up a school because that's taking a few minutes. It's buffering. So let's go to, oh, here we go. It's back up. All right, so let's go to Boston University. So let's say we want to add that to the My Colleges list. Okay, and we'll also add, go through all those. We'll add Cornell. Okay, and we're going to compare them. So there's Cornell. We also have to click compare, and we'll go back up to BU. It's added to My Colleges, but we also have to compare it. Okay, so now we're going to go up to My Colleges. We have 3 schools, BC, BU, and Cornell. And we want to compare them. So we're going to check the boxes here. And we're going to go down to where it says compare selected schools. And here we go. We have BU on there twice by accident. So you can see for each category, it compares the data. You can compare the total size, number of students, the area of the population where they're located, so you get a feel, you know, that Boston College is in a much smaller area than BU is. BU is in a really big place. You can compare the calendar system, whether it's semesters or trimesters, religious affiliation, athletic concerns. You can look at the special learning opportunities that they offer, and then take a look at the admissions criteria and how they match up in terms of how difficult they are to get into. They're all pretty similar. They're really competitive schools. All 3 require the SAT. You can compare the deadlines, but again, always check these. All 3 take the Common App, similar application fees, little bit of a difference in size here. And then gender diversity, pretty similar breakdowns. Same thing with ethnic diversity. We have BC is a little bit more homogeneous than BU and Cornell. And again, we get to cost. So in and out of state, they end up being about the same thing. Actually, BU tends to be a little bit more. So this tool really helps you break schools down and compare them in terms of their statistics. Now, if you want to make your search more specific, you go back to College Search and you can add things. Like, let's say that we want to go to a school that has a women's rowing team. And let's say that we think we want to major specifically in electrical engineering. Now we're down to 22 colleges because our search is much more specific. So you can see how that really refines your search. All right. So now that we've checked out Scoir and how you can look at and keep track of information on Scoir, we're going to check out a third website. We're going to look at Naviance.